dear viewers of the podcast Got in the Motion. With me, the main host, Yavor Ivanov, and with my favorite co-host, Kubrat Ivanov, more known as Kubi.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. The topic that we are covering is a bit controversial, and it's about feminism and how it has changed in the last decade or even throughout the whole 21st century. So, hello Yavor, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. We were very busy and we didn't have time to have a podcast last month and a half too, because of your exams, my study as well, and work. And I'm glad to be with you today again and go back to our podcasts.
Yeah, of course. And to anybody that was waiting for a podcast, we've come down. We have the time now over the summer to post another one or two before we get back to work. So, yeah. Yeah,
and I hope next week as well to make one if everything is okay with the one really special guest. But I won't review anymore about it. No, let's focusing on the one today.
So starting off, what is your understanding of feminism?
My understanding of feminism is the same like most of the people and the fundament of what is feminism. That's equality for women, and when I say equality today, I'm for 100% to have the rights to vote, to be equal to men. When it comes to responsibilities, and when I said responsibilities at work, in the family as well, to share responsibility. I think most of the profession they can be occupied and work in them women. That as good as men, but still I think the few professions are more kind of muscular and more for a man. Generally equality between men and women and to don't be discriminated. That's how generally I understand the feminism.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's just feminism in general has always been that women have the choice on whether they want to work, study, take care of the family, be at home. It's not even in all aspects of life. It's the choice that they have. That they have all the doors, the equal opportunity that as a woman, they don't have to be separated or segregated. It's just up to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, you fulfilled my understanding perfectly. My questions to us is, do you think feminism grow last few years something becomes something ugly, something repulsive, even if you like, in some ways? Do you notice anything, this kind of developments there, and how you well pointed and maybe you create a new term of it, which is very interesting, neo-feminism?
Well, yeah, the nascency of this so-called neo-feminism, as I call it anyways, has many factors. It has the political advertisements, the most used tool of the 21st century being the social media, the media in general, and that's what created it into what it is nowadays, because it has drifted apart from the core belief of women need to have the choice and the rights to live the life that they'd like to live. Now it's focused more on this more liberal view, in a sense that they've achieved feminism. I believe that in first world countries where they're very well developed economically, where there's a good education and healthcare system, and that it's obviously not a corrupt country, we can see you have more women in the workplace, you have more women having the choice to move abroad, more women even delaying birth. In Ireland, we've seen that the birth rates have dropped due to women pursuing study and work. But the feminism nowadays that's being promoted is totally different than what it was 50, 60 years ago. Now it's talking about every aspect in life and how they're unequal, or not even that. It's just they try to find something to argue and excuse themselves even. And that's what makes it the worst bit. I think this is the main bit of this neo-feminism. It's that when they make a bad choice, they try to excuse it. And I think that the mindset that's being developed now in today's contemporary society is what ruins feminism and which even drives people against it. Because when you go over to a male and you say, well, what do you think of feminism? They give you this look because they think, well, are you asking me about the feminism that was being promoted and protested for 50, 60 years ago? Or the dissemination of it nowadays? Because there's a big contrast. So I think it's down to this generation developing a more political and liberal mindset, which all feeds into such movements as such.
And if I can add to you as well that it's going against the natural. And what I mean when I'm saying these thoughts and set of mind go against the natural, the science are clear. Woman to have a healthy child, the best perfect age, of course, it's always subjective, but generally speaking, is 24 years of age.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the women's choice, why should they destroy my life? I want to enjoy, I want to travel, I have maybe want to have 10, 15 boyfriends or 2 boyfriends, whatever. And why should I start motherhood in 24? But anything that it's unnatural, it's dangerous and dark. Well, in any sense you want to interpret it, because the science is proof that any delay of birth after 24, especially if the woman is over 30 or 35, 40, we witness a lot of kids with Down syndrome, and this sense of mind is, to me, it's dangerous and unnatural, because then the child suffers.
Yeah.
Maybe the partner, if she has a partner, suffer as well, because nobody likes to have a sick child and so with special needs or disabled in somehow. Of course, we have to look after them if they are like that. But as well, this is a result of a dangerous set mind, if I can call it, because selfishness is come first, and you have to go with the nature. If you go against the nature. Then the consequences are always negative, dark, and ugly and painful.
Yeah. Well, it's not only... That's a very good example, because it's not just even the mental abnormalities that may occur, which, of course, if it happens, it happens. It's not always guaranteed that within a... That's fair. It's your child, you take care of it, you give it love, and you cherish it. But the fact that there's a chance that you can lower physical, not only just mental disabilities, but also physical, that can increase the chances of it being more prone to occur just because you want to live your life or pursue a certain thing. I feel like people have to take the responsibility as well, that once you reach a certain age, you have to come to your own conclusion, to your own choice. Well, I'm maybe 30 something. When or am I going to have a child, and when am I going to be planning to do it? Because this quintessential development of this mindset, whether it's people living, I'm seeing a lot actually on the internet. I was shocked a few months back. I was scrolling through my phone and I saw middle-aged couples off parading that they have no children, they love the life the way it is, and that the children is only an expense. It's a liability. There's they don't like the responsibility of it, and that they'd much prefer to travel and have that money saved. Now everybody has a choice, and here's the feminism behind it. They have a choice, sure, but it goes against the nature as well at the same time. I don't think it's a good thing. That's my personal opinion. I think there should be more families together. When two people really like each other. That is also the continuation of the name of the family. It's the family tree, the blood. Because eventually someday you're going to leave this world, and then what? All the money in the bank accounts. Sure, you've had some great memories, but the memories that children give you is compared one to none. So,
as a father, I can say that even though I have difficulties, like all the parents in different aspects, growing up children, the joy and The legacy I'm going to live with my children, it's nothing compared to money, car, any materialistic thing. And really, if I have to be honest with you, one of my most best memories. Of course, I have some good memories when I was single, but one of my best memories and full of positive
Joy,
and light, feet, filled up memories is with you
Of
and your
course.
sister and your mother. So and also to understand the world, to understand the other families, you cannot understand it if you don't have yourself children.
Yeah.
And here we come again to this policy of EU. We will talk later for this selfish promotion of selfishness. Oh, live for yourself. Never mind the society. Never mind the state. Don't feel that you're from any country. You're free to do whatever you like, and this selfishness is promoted.
Yeah.
And I think it's dangerous because people become careless about each other, and all they care is about me,
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
me. Next question is, but we go further maybe about that later in the podcast. My next questions to you is: do you think the neo-feminism destroy traditional family values?
Well, yes. I'm going to continue on with my example. One thing that I abhorred was that not only were they parading why they like it so much. Sure, there's your equality, there's your freedom of speech that they've been given. But they were chastising the people that had families. Like, why would you do this to yourself? As if it's a burden, as if it's a negative thing. And then you sit down and you think, 20, 30, 40 years ago, you were parading for the choice. And now you're using that now given equality, that sense of ability to speak. And now you're ridiculing other parts of certain communities, certain beliefs, individual. And then, isn't that exactly what they were going against?
But again, we will talk about freedom, and here as well they try slowly, step by step, to take your freedom. They implement policies and view of setup of minds, the EU, especially because you're European, we will talk about EU and we're living in EU. They try to ridiculate as well the beliefs. They try to make people look like if you believe in God, you're some ancient, silly, stupid guy or a girl. Out of fashion, out of your mind almost, which is very ugly and it's nothing to do with freedom. There are a lot of people, especially now, I would say the priests abuse a lot of pedophiles in the church. A lot of they contribute few factors for that, but we're not going to go deeper to that. But if now the church is much weaker than before, I mean, have less people attending it in Ireland, did the pedophiles cease to exist? I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Look, what occurred in Ireland was the convents, obviously. First of all, the use
the children who didn't have parents, or the parents didn't believe them because the church was so powerful. But
and that's what drove Ireland away from religion. But I think it's reached to another extreme, where before the church had too much power and such incidents could occur, where it's not about power, but it's the belief behind it. Because before, sometimes even belief was enforced because of fear of going against the church. But now you've been given that choice, and we've drifted too far away from that belief with God.
I think it's almost encouraged to hate the church and people who believe in church. And I think it's ugly. Everybody has to have a choice and not be branded. Old-fashioned guy, silly guy, or silly girl. Because what actually replaced the Bible teaching, for example, with what is replaced? With selfishness? Is that good for the society? I don't think so. Replacing with values, three main values: me, me, me. And this is not good to have neighbor who doesn't care about you, to have a husband or wife who doesn't care about you, a person who doesn't care about anything except himself or herself. So what is replaced the church teaching? Many people try to argue with me, but it's hard they can win these arguments because there is no teaching that is not outside of this selfishness outside of the church. What is teaching Europe now, and the policy they try to implement, and one-sided view that everybody else is wrong, which we again go to the topic about freedom. And feminism, and how you call it very well, I think is a great term, neo-feminism. It's one of the earliest phases of the modern Europe.
Yeah, 100%. I know my question towards you is, do you think that there's a link between neo-feminism and neo-liberalism in terms of their mindset?
I think it's a lot there. I would say neoliberalism, neo-feminism is a branch of the neoliberalism, which also grow over the years as something ugly. It was born as liberalism, freedom, freedom of speech, equality, and it's become something ugly and something really, really disturbing in the minds. Everybody who has a set of free mind. Now you're not allowed to say things that are not liked by the EU, by the neoliberals. And here in UK, it's a perfect example. One of the ugly consequences of this neo-feminism and neoliberalism. England UK going to spend, recently I saw it, plan to go back to work, if I can recall it the name. But doesn't matter how it's formulated, this plan. But the state of UK will spend 2.5 billion to try to help women who are overweight, which in UK are, I was shocked with the number, 1.5 million women in UK are obese, to help them to get slim, fitter, to go back to work. But here a lot of people who can argue, well, this is a great thing for the health. No, they're doing it because the state losing money.
Yeah.
But how comes to this, that these women are 1.5 million obese? Because of this neoliberal teaching, you can do whatever you like, drink 3 liters of Coke every day.
Yeah.
It's fantastic to wear, whatever. And how you look, it doesn't matter, you're fantastic looking. And now it's not because they care about the health of these women.
No.
It wouldn't come to this sad figure, 1.5 million obese women in UK, if the state did care. But they see that they're losing a lot of money.
They can't find a job.
Because they can't find a job. They have to be constantly in the social welfare. They need health problems. We all know that obese brings diabetes, problems with the arteries, problems with the bones, also developing, how I said, diabetes, high blood pressure, all these heart conditions. So the state is losing a lot of money. So they don't doing it because, how I said, it's because they care about people's health.
No.
Because you wouldn't come to this huge and really dreadful figure of 1.5 million obese women in UK. My question is related to what I just said. Do you see that the modeling industry has been heavily influenced by the neoliberalism, which is linked to neo-feminism sets of mind?
Yeah, mindset.
Mindset,
definitely. I mean, you're seeing it now. You have very overweight, fast, straight up models on it. Absolute. I'm not going to go into describing them, but and this advertisement that they have is not because they want to show off the wear, to show off how it looks. Sure, if you're fat, well, you have to wear clothes. Of course you want to see how it looks on another fellow overweight person. And then, yes, of course, I understand modelling for those purposes. But now the modelling that's occurring for overweight people isn't to showcase the clothes and how it sits on them, how the wear looks on them. But now it's to say, but being fat isn't unhealthy. but being fat is alright. Look, you have models on the TV now making millions of it. But being fat, look, if you look at it, it's not that big of a setback or change in your life. If you're fat, you're fat. It's just one of those things. Just as you see a regular looking person down the street, if you're skinny looking, if you're fat, you shouldn't even come across your mind that there's anything wrong or that it's unhealthy. It should just be accepted as a norm, as a social norm. And this precipitates back onto the pressure on the healthcare systems. And then let's even get away from politically and economically, but how you feel as a person. Because when you get up in the morning and the additional weight upon your bones hurts and your joints are cracking and your blood pressure is up and you're drinking 5 to 10 different pills a day just so that your heart can function properly, well, that so-called modeling and acceptance of people being overweight has got nothing to do with the clothes. They're trying to implement this mindset and this style of living, which is just unhealthy and very harmful, because if one person in the family suffers, everybody suffers within that household. Friends, family, even acquaintances. So
that's why I want to add, I can't just stop myself. This is a pervert, what they do in the EU or all these companies all over the world. They're trying to, first reasons to make money and saying, look, we have these swimming suits for you, or these clothes, it's fine, you're 200 kilos, that's fine.
Yeah.
You look
You're
fantastic.
not any different from anyone.
To promoting bad health, it's a evilish thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Bad health, because we're not talking about, there is a man, I rest in peace, my uncle, like large women.
Yeah.
He loves them. He said if it's less than 120 kilos, it's for me, it's not a woman. But there is people who like, that's fine.
That's,
but promoting...
As a good thing, that's the issue.
Yeah, but promoting that's fine, and it's not fine. If you're over 150 kilos or whatever weight that is not healthy, it's a crime.
Yeah, no.
Like the same advertising smoking is fantastic for you.
Yeah.
It will keep you slim.
Yeah,
you look cool.
Yeah.
You look more muscular, man-like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%.
You're a big and you can eat 5, 10, 15 meals a day. That's fine, no problems. You're fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, that's the issues with the modeling industry. It's not the clothes. It's not about the clothes anymore.
No.
It's
about making money and actually, I don't know, they did it consciously or unconsciously, but I'm sure they know that it's...
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, they know that that's wrong.
And anyways,
that's wrong.
The more overweight people they are, the more money they can make within that specific aspect of the industry. Because as any company, you'd keep sizes, the size of sales for each product. And obviously by promoting a certain lifestyle and a certain weight, well, you're going to be making more money throughout that. Even one of those indirect, consequences of being overweight. So companies make millions out of it. It's become trendy, so it's much easier to advertise. The acceptance of it, the rates have gone up. And due to those acceptance rates going up, more people are suffering from obesity because they don't understand how unhealthy it is.
Yeah, I can't agree more with you. It's in EU again. It's this acceptance of being a cat, dog, being overweight, or be yourself. But this is not unhealthy. In the other cases, here it's physically unhealthy. But the other one to be a cat or a dog, it's a mental issue.
Yeah.
And please, if somebody can prove that it's not mental state of mine, if you can prove it, that will be great. I will pay him money if he can prove it, but will be very difficult to
100%
my thoughts on it, and most of the...
And it needs to be looked at more seriously, because it's an addiction. If you can't control what you put into your mouth, not only does that show that you're not disciplined enough to make a change, not just for yourself, but for your family, there's something wrong with the way you're thinking. And you need to acknowledge that, just like a drug addict, just like an alcoholic.
I know we all acknowledge we have our weaknesses as well. we acknowledge how the difficult can be.
Yeah, no, it's not easy.
But they have to stop advertising it and accept it as that's fine. You can be 200 kilos. That's fine. It's fantastic. You look fantastic. We have clothes for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We have swimming suits for you. Oh, you.
I mean, a quintessential example would be of this paradigm that's being followed is in America, 42% of the adult population is obese.
That's shocking.
So
42%.
realistically, every second or third person down the street is going to be well-rounded, and that's just not even a European country, but just always America is looked upon as 42%.
This
is
huge
overweight.
Big Macs, how you
Yeah.
measure how much?
No, even the portion sizes there are different, and once you're hooked on to the food and that addiction is being created, it's much easier to get fat
Of
because
course.
the portion sizes are absolutely huge.
I know a lot of friends who were living in America, traveling to America, and they said really the food there.
Yeah, the food is.
The money, the quantity you get, it's fantastic. I said, yeah, in one way, if you're on holiday, you eat more or drink more.
Yeah.
But to be a lifestyle, to live there is dangerous to have accessibility to
It's
such
easy to
nice food and
Yeah.
such a quantity for such a small amount of money.
Yeah.
I think it's very dangerous. It's not something to be proud of.
Exactly.
And then you have people who are hungry in America. But anyway,
Well,
there are a lot of things going wrong.
Don't
and,
you think that's hypocritical? This leads me on to my next question. That the EU promotes sustainable energy and the development of these green policies when coincidingly they're promoting obesity. Don't you think that it's hypocritical, no?
Very hypocritical. Like a lot of policies EU implemented last 20 years. It's really very, very hypocritical. Now, they are promoting obesity, but in the same time, they promoting these green deals and green policies. They implementing it in Ireland, I have to say, it's for me and many people, Irish as well, is disgusting. I tell you, to recycle these metal cans, I have to wait the last time 15 minutes to recycle them. They're not all accepted, but the government charge you before, they charge you extra price for them, and if you can't return it or if you don't want to return it, it's your problem, and they charge you a huge amount of money. And first, they didn't have enough machines. For example, going to this part of this green deal, you have to spend your time to wait to recycle them. And do you think some who is obese going to wait 15 minutes and carrying this big bag to recycle them?
Oh, wow.
They won't. But like a lot of things in EU, this is a very wrong, very hypocritical policy. They didn't ask people if they like it. For example, let's talk about driving. They introduce more traffic lights. But hold on, most of us, we use the cars because we have to big bags for shopping, we have families. We need the car in raining days to bring the kids to school, or whatever, some trips that you really have to do.
You're talking about more taxes.
More taxes, that's what I was going to say. More taxes on petrol. Also, the traffic lights, they put it more often so they make you give up driving.
Yeah.
So you have to stop. Here in our road, we have in 200 meters 3 stops of traffic lights.
Yeah.
So they want you to get frustrated and get on the bike.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not paying, or millions of drivers, paying huge taxes because the Green Party introduced it on the petrol because I want to bring my children to school when it's raining.
Yeah.
To go to work because I cannot rely. Like in Singapore, you have a very efficient system.
Yeah.
Every 5 minutes, 2 minutes, you have a underground, a bus, whatever. So the cars are expensive, but makes sense. Here, they don't provide this reliable transport.
No.
And you pay huge taxes for extra taxes for oil. They want to introduce even more in Ireland. So this green madness, this green lunacy has to end because it's like imposing something that the people didn't vote for.
Yeah.
You can't. There again, freedom. This pervert way of freedom in Europe. A small party that only 5% of the voters vote, or 7%, imposing policy to the rest of the country. This is ridiculous.
No, and even and they all say that it's for the sake of the greater good of a healthier and more sustainable planet. when I looked into it, and it's not even, it's common sense. There's thousands of unregistered landfills globally where they burn, I mean, tons of plastic. All those multinational corporations, they're burning everything. The emissions of those landfills alone are one of the main contributors of CO2 and methane. And if you're going to be looking at cars and you're not going to be looking into how much those unregistered landfills are providing to statistics, well,
that's like a building of 200 apartments. I often give this example, which is very simple, but I think it's kind of explain what may be happening. China refused to have this green policy. United States don't do it.
yeah,
So you're having a building of 200 apartments, and 5 apartments decide that they're not going to throw the rubbish from the window. But 95 apartments, or 195 apartments, decide to do it.
yeah,
And they throw the rubbish. So you only slower a little bit the process of the pollution, of the dirty the place, but you don't stop in it. And who pay this price for this? To me, it's like a dictatorship, because
yeah,
one big party to have a coalition with a small one, Green Party, they are ready to accept anything from this Green Party.
Yeah.
And they imposing the whole nation or the whole nations in EU all this lunacy that most of the people don't want it.
yeah,
And let's be clear, most of people don't use the cars because just they want to go off-road,
yeah,
with speeding, having
Yeah.
fun. They're using it for reason. And if all the world don't get together and doing it, we are imposed in Europe to do something that nobody else doing it, and we're becoming poorer, and hypocrisy and
Yeah,
madness
no,
and
no.
thirst of power.
even the pervasive postulation of just many people, it's common sense. It's more so for money. I don't think, if you look at it, they're stating that in 100 or 200 and 300 million years the earth is going to end, and we can lengthen that period. I'm not saying go ahead, throw your rubbish. No, it's against hygiene for the life, the standards of life, but they're excusing it for the length of earth. Let's be realists. We don't know what's going to happen in 1 billion years, and half a billion years, and 200 million years. I'm not going against it, but you have to be a realist to a certain extent and sit down and be like, well, we don't know what can happen in the next 10 years. You can see all these wars are starting. Even we to ourselves, it's with just the atomic weaponry that we have, just as an example, not to go off track, that we have, the whole world can be blown up in just one war.
I don't want to say this black humor, but I like it. They say, why you worried how you're going to hit your house next winter? Could be a nuclear winter.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the way it's EU going, and all these sides of this war, for example, in Europe, it look like could be a
Yeah, you never know.
nuclear winter.
You never know.
Things are
But
escalating.
That's what I'm saying, that you don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, 3 years. You don't even know what can happen tomorrow. And for them to have these analysis on the earth and how long we could live, and save it for your grandkids and things, that's 100 years down the line. I think my grandkids will be fine. The reason why we should keep a clean country, a functional country, is for hygiene purposes, for the protection of diseases, the eradication of such threats to the human health, to the human life. But what's going to happen in 500 million years? I could not tell you.
And yeah, okay, fine, people who throwing plastic in the sea, that destroy animals.
That kills life. Exactly.
But, yeah, but
do it for the
yeah,
life now. But
charging me
Yeah.
for cans, and all the people in front of me who were in this machine. Sorry, I'm very angry, because really it's not only me expressing here my anger, but they were all giving out about the Irish government.
yeah,
Say headless. They don't have brains.
Yeah.
They were cursing in because it's 4 machines for 1,000 people,
Yeah.
and they're often broken.
And they don't accept everything.
And they don't accept, so they actually, you're paying extra, but you don't get it back. Oh, you get it back. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
No, you don't. No. If you look at it out of 20 bottles, you're probably putting in 15.
If I had the power, I collect all my rubbish and get people to collect all rubbish, cans and plastic bottles that we couldn't return, and I'm going to put it in the Green Party leader in the house, front of his house. Because really that's what he deserves.
Yeah.
And all the Green Party members.
Yeah. Well, on to my next question is, what do you think is your solution to these problems?
Solution is freedom. Freedom that we understand, but even though freedom is very abstractive thing, as we talked before. For me, is abolishing all these policies or open doors of Europe, all these policies of green lunacy. Also, to be abolished, this selfishness, to be replaced with something else. Because selfishness leads to darkness. Darkness leads to death. And if you like, in a sense, death as a moral degradation,
Yeah.
as a physical death, we see in obesity, because people with obesity live for less. They eat more, but they live less. But that eating is not healthy. So this policy, Europe, we're talking about because we're going to, has to change. And now we are in that time that the elections are coming in Europe. Europe has to change. If Europe, it doesn't change, this impose forcefully policies that are unhealthy in any sense, moral, physical sense, that's the solution. Change the policies. And people vote, and most of us rise against this with protests, with voting against all these parties who promote this. This is only solution, and otherwise is the other one that we know from history, revolutions and violence, which we don't want to go there. But if the European leaders stop listening to the voices of the masses, we are witnessing already clashes in the streets of Europe, in France, in Germany, in UK, in Ireland. I don't want to go deeper in all the aspects of this resentment of these policies, which is reaching a boiling point.
Yeah.
Europe has to change, and we are the ones who should change Europe, and tell explicitly that we had enough of these policies, and all these leaders has to go. My final question for this podcast it's towards you. What do you think? We were talking about these sets of mind, about obesity, about selfishness, and so on, neo-feminism and neo-liberalism. How this can be avoided how can be avoided? Do you think this kind of developing these sets of mind can be stopped in early age?
Well, yeah. I think it starts off with the media, because nowadays you see children at a very early stage of their life get a smartphone, get social media such as Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, even the access to Google, the news feeds on it. And it's specifically programmed to target what you're interested, or if they want to convey a message, it's spread across everything. So you're going to see it whether you have one app or the other, or even if you just have a phone. So I think the biggest tool right now that everybody's using is obviously media. That has to be mitigated to a certain extent. There has to be more controls over what is posted on the internet. And I still don't think that's going to end. I think it's down to the individual themselves to come to their own realization and conclusion that whatever is being promoted, and there we go back to the critical thinking, that whatever is being promoted, they have to look at it and say, well, why is it being promoted? By who is it promoted? Are they trying to make money off me? Why are they promoting this? And is it healthy for me? Because you can have certain things that might fit into someone else's lifestyle. This is very generalized, but might work for somebody. Maybe a certain product or thing. That all feeds into a person's day-to-day life, their uses, what they're getting drawn into. Because now advertisement from companies, it's major. It's all the marketing is done online because it's cheap, it's fast, it's efficient. Everyone has a phone. Everybody uses a phone. And nowadays you don't even have to pay for ads. You can just open up an account and you can promote whatever you want. The same way that we're posting our content is the exact same way that any other company will do to post their content. But there's a difference. That the viewer can look at our podcast and even say, well, I don't agree with this. I agree with this. And I don't like this. But we as humans have this natural tendency to instantly disagree with a point made by a human, in the sense that it's being spoke about, and you just go, I don't like this guy, I don't like his opinion. But when we see it in a different model, in a different sort of advertisement of this, it's maybe as a small paragraph that you read, as an image, those critical thinking moments, those analyses are left out. So from a young age, when you're opening up your phone and you're seeing war about this, maybe the production of this, climate change, it stays in your head, and then by a certain amount of time you're growing up with this mentality, and if you're not neglecting those opinions on the internet, and I'm not saying everything on the internet is bad, but if you're not going down to your own opinion, and I've been called, even by many teachers, very opinionated, and maybe to a certain extent that's bad, but it's better to be too opinionated rather than having no opinion and just being one obsequious.
Just follow the stream.
Exactly, because I've had pretty irrelevant arguments with classmates, with friends, with acquaintances, for something that I know that the only reason that they are agreeing with a certain view or a certain opinion is because everybody else is saying it.
That's why it's. I just want to add about wars before, by going back to history and critical thinking, and the war today. They look like, if not 80 or 90%, following this theme of the mass media, the view they presented, and like when Hitler becomes to power, for example, in Germany.
Yeah.
Germany, by one French general, when they signed in Versailles, with the Treaty of Versailles, he said we're punishing Germany so severely, we're putting the beginning of the Second World War. And nobody listened to that general. And that's why Hitler comes to power, because in Germany, 30% were unemployed.
Yeah.
Germany was put on her knees. And Hitler comes along and said, I have a great social system. We spoke with the assistant professor Alexander Tank. He said, if you remove the racism and anti-Semitism, the social system, it's one of the perfect ones I came across. And he's an expert of social systems.
Yeah.
And so he said, if I was living in this time and I was German, I would vote for him if we remove the racism and the anti-Semitism. So here, with the critical thinking that we are promoted in Europe, one part of the story or a twisted part of the story, but nobody asked, hold on, but to start one fight, did not the other guy have as well some fault to happen this war?
But even for obesity, you look at it, okay, why are they promoting this? Why is feminism not looked upon very well nowadays? You say, are you a feminist? It's more of... It's a bad question to answer because it's looked upon negatively. Why are you a feminist? And I personally, I'm thinking, it depends. It really depends because I'm repeating myself from the start of the video. It's changed. It's changed too much to where this propaganda. It's propaganda of feminism, of the lifestyle, the modeling, all of this all come in. That's your media right there. Because the promotion of it isn't just your phone. It's walking down the street and once you see posters hung up, posters on your glasses of businesses. When you're walking down the street and you might have a certain person or a certain movement being painted on the wall, and that's going to have subconsciously an effect on what you think, how you think. And the only way that can be exterminated is unless you have your own opinion and your own thought process to agree or disagree with it. Because that's one of the things that we're seeing globally. They're trying to exterminate this, the differences between each country. And not in the good way where the racism that, no, the cultural differences in each country. And this all leads to just the creation of this one big global nation with the same understanding, with no feuds, cultural feuds, and there's nothing to be proud of. And you can see it now, even in Ireland a few years back. You had the referendum for dropping history as a subject that should be taken up until third year. So after third year, obviously you're going in depth into subjects. That's a choice subject for your leaving cert. But up to third year, that history should not be mandatory to be taught, and it's down to the school if they should teach it. Well, how can you be proud of your roots and where you've gone and how far you've developed if you aren't getting taught it?
Yeah.
So feminism nowadays is looked upon. I know there's probably people watching this video and saying, well, they've drifted along to propaganda, neo-liberalism. They've drifted up to advertisement, but it's all interlinked together. And feminism is just another one of those tools that's linked to the liberal mindset.
As we can look at the liberalism and feminism start as something positive, progressive.
Yes.
Give more freedom, equality to people, and grow up as something ugly. Went to a very ugly and very wrong directions, if you're asking me, for my opinion. As we discussed in the episode 2, obesity that is normal, that men maybe should get pregnant. Really something unnatural, and anything, how I said in the beginning of episode, which leads to the unnatural only leads to pain, to destruction, and really darkness.
Yeah.
And you can't go against the nature, and if you go against the nature, well, the consequences are terrible.
Yeah. So that concludes our episode today. Thank you to anyone that is finishing off this episode with us, and hopefully if there's anybody that wants to comment their opinions, what they agree with, what they change, and if you're against us, we of course like that our opinions are being contested. So thank you to everyone that's watched it, whether you did not enjoy the video, whether you did enjoy the video, and don't forget, if you've enjoyed it, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see any more new content that we will create in the future, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when it drops. Thank you to everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.